We survived the storm. I am Zach Dean. I'm getting my beard groomed in a couple hours because it's so long. This is Chris Boyle. His beard is not nearly long enough to be groomed yet, but I digress. Week number 4 in the high school football season. No hurricanes this week, although I'm going to tell you right now, do not look at the weather report for Friday night because it doesn't look great.
No.
But we're still a couple days out of the cone, so we'll see if the rain holds off. A huge week of high school football this week. I think this is like there's 2 games Friday night in particular that are going to be contenders for game of the year, I think. Before we get to those, however, we had some Monday night football action. Hank Williams Jr. was singing Rowdy Friends, and we had some ball games played Monday.
Yeah, Atlantic opened up with a 32-0 win in their home field against Seabreeze. Their defense really smothered the Sand Crabs. They didn't get a first down until the 8-minute mark of the third quarter.
Were they the Dolphins?
Nobody's the Dolphins. Nobody is the Dolphins. You also had Pine Ridge snapping a 20-game losing streak at home against Halifax. They defeated them 50-0. They scored 43 points in the first half. Had 6 different players find the end zone.
Were they the Ravens?
So a good week for Kenny Pickens' group, and they also had Winter Springs knock off Daytona 28-6. First time they scored the Wolves this year. A 40-yard touchdown pass from Denzel Chapman to Eli Patton was the highlight of the night, but not enough to get the victory. They dropped to 0-2.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Oh, and Father Lopez also played Tuesday night, and they lost 28-6 to Satellite. They did have
wheels kind of came off there at the end.
Yeah, they had a pick 6, and it was a really nice play by Antoine Scott, the defensive end, leaping catch, took it back for a touchdown. The offense just didn't get it going, which is a little bit surprising considering how they've started the year. But they'll have a chance to rebound against Cocoa Beach this week.
I think they will rebound against Cocoa Beach. That is one of many games Friday night. The biggest game Friday night, I don't think there's any doubt about this one, the one that you'll be at, could very well be a district championship decider. Flagler Palm Coast traveling to Spruce Creek 2 years ago at this very stadium was one of the most memorable games around here with the Phantom no call, the Phantom flag that kind of kept Spruce Creek from winning the game. Last year I covered the game. Spruce Creek went up there, and it was a good game. FPC won though. I think this year these 2 teams are incredibly even again.
Yeah, this is going to be such a big moment for both of these schools. Andy Price told me back at the start of August that they can really only afford to lose one district game, and that's kind of the mentality when you have 4 teams the caliber of Flagler Palm Coast, DeLand, Seminole, and Spruce Creek all in that same district in
that's a gauntlet.
2-8A. It's going to be a really tough look at it. I mean, you look at DeLand and Seminole, we'll talk about them more in a minute. They're both ranked in the top 10 in the AP poll. And Flagler and Spruce Creek know that they have to start on the right foot. For Flagler, the offense has been spectacular. They've been balanced, they've been efficient, they've been explosive, they've connected through the air. I mean, Donovan Montoya, the talk about his improvements in the offseason, we obviously maybe took with a grain of salt, but so far the results have spoken for themselves. He's been arguably the best player around here, I'd say, certainly among the best offensive players around here. They're healthy in the backfield again. Both Ty Jenkins and Mark Genis had a fuller workload against Clay 2 weeks ago than they did the week before. For Creek, Marvin Scott, this is a big opportunity.
Pretty simple, yeah.
And obviously Flagler knows that that's going to be what they have to do. They have to find a way to keep Marvin Scott in the backfield. They made him earn his yards last year in a 24-8 final score, but there's only so much you can do to keep that kid from breaking loose, from wearing you down over the course of 48 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. I really think this is going to be a fun game to watch.
Who do you got?
I've got Flagler. I think it's going to be very close. I have it Flagler by a final score of 28-24.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. I have Flagler 28-24.
Wow.
We're gonna. Do we have to change that now?
No.
29-24.
Just go with it. Just roll with it.
We both have Flagler, and I'm known around here as the Spruce Creek homer. Mm-hmm. So I saw Flagler, and I was impressed with Flagler. Now, I think their defense still has some holes to fix, and Marvin could very well expose that. But I think Flagler's offense can keep them in any game they're going to play this year.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be one of those traditional games for Flagler where they keep a team down on the scoreboard and they kind of run away early. I really think Creek is going to be with them stride for stride for a lot of these possessions. It's more than just Marvin. I mean, there is some balance there. Nick Cristiano's an experienced player with 3-4 years of varsity experience that can go out there, make the throws, distribute the ball, and tuck it and run when he needs to. Sincere Wilson's been impressive from what I've seen in small sample sizes. They have a couple receivers they like.
The young Minkler,
Kevin Minkler, Sebastian Moran, they like those players too. I think it's going to be fun. I think you really are going to get a game that's going to be tight. Every possession is going to matter.
That one will be one. The other one over in West Volusia is definitely going to be DeLand and Seminole. I mean, you're going to have the landscape of this district is going to look drastically different Saturday morning than it is Friday morning. DeLand and Seminole, great game last year. DeLand went to Seminole and won, and very similar two teams this year. I'm picking DeLand, but I'm like I don't know what to do here because I feel like these teams are so even. What do you got?
I've got Seminole, and it's going to be. I do think it's close. And this is the second time I've bet against DeLand this year. They made me pay for it the first time around. I think Timmy McClain as a quarterback is just a really special player.
He's tough to keep him in arm's length.
Just a really accurate passer, a good athlete as well, a guy that can really distribute the ball. There's a lot of good quality players on the outside for Seminole. We'll find out how healthy DeLand is coming out of the break. They haven't played in 3 weeks, and I think that might maybe play a role. Seminole did play 2 weeks ago. They played against Lake Mary, a closer game maybe than was expected. But
down to the wire.
Yeah, and I believe that this is going to be another game that's going to be very, very tight. I think 3 to 7 points is the margin. I'm going to take Seminole by a score of 21-17. I think that's about what I'd see it as. And this is no disrespect to DeLand. I think they're very much alive to not only win this game on Friday night, but also in the wild card race. If they don't win it, they're still going to have an opportunity to beat Flagler, to beat Spruce Creek, to rack up some more points, and with the strength of their schedule, they can still easily get into the playoffs just like they did last year.
Yeah, I mean, DeLand, I think it just seems like whenever you bet against them, they do well, which is why I picked them. That's my only basis.
Yeah, they thrive in these situations against rival teams. The last 2 years against rival teams.
Went up to FPC last year and took care of business.
Maybe being viewed as an underdog, they have thrived in these situations, and we'll see if they can do it again.
Big game in big game in Creek, big game in DeLand. A couple other decently intriguing matchups. Obviously, Mainland and Pine Ridge open district play. Seabreeze and Daytona. Seabreeze coming off the win. And then Saturday, obviously, Atlantic hosts Melbourne Central Catholic. Atlantic looking to go to, 2-0, 3-0?
Yeah, they would go to 3-0. Atlantic will face Melbourne Central Catholic, a playoff team from last year. I said that on Monday, their defense was very impressive. The offense, it ran a lot of plays. They ran 88 plays in that game.
Good Lord.
So I'm wondering how the legs are going to feel. They ran the ball a ton. They play with tempo. There's not a lot of recovery time. There's not a lot of practice time in between, even though they are kicking off on Saturday. There's going to be some need to rest up there. And they lost Dallas Lovelace to an ankle injury. So whether he's going to be ready to go on Saturday, probably a bit of a tall order. They turned to C.J. Robinson to carry the load in the second half. So I think Atlantic is obviously a team that is going to grind it out. They're going to have to win some games just on the strength of their defense. DJ May will be the first one to tell you that's the strength of this unit that needs to lead the way. The other team I'm curious to see about is University. They're very quietly 2-0.
Westport, that's right.
They go to Westport and they've handled their business so far. They've gone out there and really dominated the two teams they've played.
They really haven't even given it have they given it a point yet this year?
They've not. You look at the drastic turnaround. This is the first time they've had back-to-back shutouts since the start of the 2015 season.
Since I've been here, yeah.
So you look at the turnaround defensively. Christian Kennick and Logan Hayner have been really the key players in that turnaround, how well they've started the season. And obviously the schedule will get tougher, but Westport's a team that was down last year. This is a great opportunity for them to go to 3-0 and potentially crack the Fab Five depending on how things play out.
Look at that tease. Wow, look at you. I am Zach Dean. It's Chris Boyle. I am going to be in DeLand for the DeLand Seminole game. You're going to be at the Flagler Spruce Creek Showdown. It's going to be a fun Friday night. Thank God it's back. No hurricanes out there. Could be some weather. But, hey, I hope it rains because that could just add to the drama on Friday. So let it pour. Just not in the press box. Follow us on Twitter, Chris Boyle DBNJ, Zach Dean DBNJ, on the Facebook group, which you guys have been doing great at. News Journal Online, we'll have the halftime stories, we'll have the full recaps afterwards. I'm Zach Dean, it's Chris Boyle. We will see you on Friday.